Why people take you for granted and replace you so easily. Have you ever given your best to someone only to watch them act as if you never mattered? You were there when they needed support. You answered their calls. You listened to their problems. You sacrificed your time, your energy, and sometimes even your own happiness just to make their life easier. But one day, they drifted away. They stopped appreciating you. They stopped valuing your presence. And what hurt the most was not that they left, it was how easily they seemed to replace you. Suddenly, someone else occupied the space you once held. Someone else received the attention, appreciation, and loyalty you thought you had earned. And it left you asking a painful question. Why do people take some individuals for granted while deeply valuing others? The answer is uncomfortable, because being valuable and being available are not the same thing. In fact, the more available you become, the easier it is for people to underestimate your worth. Today, we will explore the psychology behind why people take you for granted, why they replace some people so easily, and most importantly, how to stop becoming disposable in the eyes of others. Let's begin. Number 1. Familiarity often destroys appreciation. Human beings are strange. We often appreciate things most when we fear losing them. Think about a new phone. The day you buy it, you protect it carefully. You clean it constantly. You admire every feature. But after months of using it every day, the excitement fades. The phone has not become less valuable. You have simply become accustomed to its presence. The same psychological principle applies to relationships. When people become too accustomed to having you around, they stop noticing your value. Your kindness becomes expected. Your loyalty becomes normal. Your sacrifices become invisible. What was once appreciated slowly becomes taken for granted. This is called hedonic adaptation. The human mind adjusts to positive experiences and eventually treats them as normal. The problem is that many people unknowingly train others to expect unlimited access to them. They are always available, always helping, always forgiving, always understanding. Eventually, people stop seeing these qualities as gifts. They begin seeing them as obligations. The moment something becomes expected, appreciation starts to disappear. This is why scarcity often increases perceived value. People notice what they might lose. They pay attention to what is not constantly available. When someone knows you will always be there, no matter how they treat you, they feel no urgency to value your presence. And that is the beginning of being taken for granted. Number 2. People value what they invest in. One of the biggest misconceptions about relationships is the belief that the more you give, the more people will value you. Psychology often shows the opposite. People tend to value what they invest in, not necessarily what is given to them. Think about it. When someone works hard to achieve something, they usually cherish it. But when something is handed to them effortlessly, they often appreciate it less. This is known as the effort justification effect. The more effort people put into obtaining something, the more valuable it becomes in their minds. The same principle applies to human relationships. If you were constantly doing all the work, initiating every conversation, solving every problem, and carrying every emotional burden, the other person invests very little. As a result, they often feel less attached. You become a convenience rather than a treasure. Ironically, the people who were most afraid of losing others end up overgiving. They try harder, give more, sacrifice more, and slowly create an imbalance where the other person contributes less and less. The relationship becomes one-sided. and one-sided relationships rarely generate deep respect. Healthy relationships require mutual investment. Mutual effort creates mutual value. Without it, appreciation gradually fades. Number 3. You teach people how to treat you. Many people believe respect is something others simply choose to give, but respect is often shaped by the standards you enforce. Every time someone crosses a boundary and faces no consequence, they learn something about you. Every time someone disrespects you and you tolerate it, they learn something about you. Every time someone uses you, ignores you, or manipulates you without resistance, they learn something about you. They learn what they can get away with. People pay attention to behavior far more than words. You can tell someone to respect you, but if your actions communicate that disrespect is acceptable, your words become meaningless. This is why boundaries are so important. Boundaries are not walls, they are instructions. They teach people how to engage with you. Without boundaries, people often assume unlimited access. Unlimited access eventually becomes entitlement, and entitlement destroys appreciation. The people who are hardest to replace are usually not the people who demand attention. They are the people who know their worth and protect it. They understand that respect is maintained through consistent standards, not endless accommodation. Point number 4. Desperation lowers perceived value. One of the harshest truths in human psychology is this: desperation often reduces attraction, respect, and perceived value. People naturally gravitate toward individuals who appear emotionally secure. Why? Because emotional security signals strength. It communicates that a person's happiness does not depend entirely on external validation. Desperation sends the opposite message. When someone constantly seeks approval, chases attention, or fears being abandoned, others often sense it, and unfortunately, many people respond by valuing them less. This does not happen because they are bad people. It happens because desperation unconsciously signals scarcity of self-worth. The person appears to be saying, "I need you more than you need me." That imbalance changes the dynamic. People often respect those who can walk away more than those who cling desperately. The ability to leave unhealthy situations communicates self-respect. The willingness to stay in situations that consistently hurt you often communicates the opposite. This is why confidence is attractive, not because confidence is loud, but because confidence demonstrates independence. The less your identity depends on another person's approval, the harder you become to replace.
Number 5. Many people are drawn to novelty. Another reason people seem to replace others easily is because human beings are naturally attracted to novelty. New experiences stimulate the brain. New people create curiosity. New relationships trigger excitement. This is not necessarily a sign that the previous person lacked value. It is often a reflection of how the brain responds to new stimuli. The problem is that many individuals mistake novelty for importance. Something feels exciting simply because it is unfamiliar. Over time, however, novelty fades. The same cycle repeats. The person who seemed irreplaceable yesterday becomes ordinary tomorrow. This pattern explains why some people jump endlessly from friendship to friendship, relationship to relationship, and opportunity to opportunity. They chase excitement rather than depth. They confuse temporary stimulation with genuine connection. But depth requires time. Trust requires time. Meaning requires time. People who constantly pursue novelty often struggle to build lasting bonds because they abandon things before true value has a chance to develop. If someone replaces you quickly, it does not automatically mean you lacked worth. Sometimes it simply means they are addicted to newness, and eventually they may repeat the same pattern with the next person.
This brings us to number 6. Your self-worth determines how others see you. The most important relationship in your life is the relationship you have with yourself. Because the way you see yourself influences how others see you. People constantly communicate self-worth through behavior, not words. When you constantly apologize for existing, people notice. When you accept poor treatment repeatedly, people notice. When you tolerate disrespect just to keep someone around, people notice. These behaviors create an unconscious impression. They signal that you do not believe you deserve better. And sadly, many people will treat you according to the standards you accept. This does not mean every bad experience is your fault. Far from it. Some people are selfish. Some people are manipulative. Some people simply lack character. But your self-worth influences who gains access to your life and how long they remain there. The stronger your self-respect becomes, the less attractive you become to those who seek easy targets. People who value themselves tend to attract healthier relationships because they refuse to tolerate unhealthy dynamics. They do not beg for attention. They do not chase validation. And they do not remain where they are consistently undervalued.
And lastly, number 7, the people who cannot be replaced are not trying to be irreplaceable. This may sound paradoxical. The people who are hardest to replace are often the people who are not obsessed with being irreplaceable. They are focused on living meaningful lives. They have goals, purpose, interests, passions, standards. Their identity extends beyond any single relationship. Because of this, their presence feels valuable, not because they are perfect, but because they bring something unique. Many people spend years trying to become indispensable to others. They become emotional caretakers, problem solvers, constant rescuers. They make themselves useful. But usefulness alone does not create lasting value. Authenticity does. Character does. Integrity does. Purpose does. The most respected individuals understand a powerful truth. No one can force another person to appreciate them. You cannot control how others perceive you. You cannot control whether someone stays or leaves. What you can control is how you show up in the world, how you treat yourself, and what standards you maintain. Ironically, when you stop trying desperately to be irreplaceable, you often become far more memorable because people remember those who possess genuine self-respect.
In conclusion, if people have taken you for granted before, it is important to understand something. Their behavior does not define your worth. Being replaced does not mean you were worthless. Being overlooked does not mean you lacked value. Sometimes people fail to appreciate what they have. Sometimes they chase novelty. Sometimes they mistake availability for weakness. And sometimes they simply lack the emotional maturity to recognize genuine value. But there is a lesson hidden inside every experience of being taken for granted. Your worth should never depend on another person's ability to see it. Because the moment your value becomes dependent on external validation, you surrender control of your self-esteem. The goal is not to become impossible to replace. The goal is to become someone whose peace, confidence, and self-respect cannot be taken away. When you stop over-explaining yourself, when you stop begging for appreciation, when you stop chasing people who constantly overlook your value, something changes. you begin to recognize your own worth. And once you truly recognize it, you no longer need others to convince you that you matter. Because the people who understand their value do not spend their lives trying to prove it. They simply live it. And that is precisely why they are never forgotten.